What's up, everybody? Welcome back to George Reviews. I am the 80s Transformers fan. Today on George Reviews, I'll be taking a look at Marvel Legends, Marvel Comics Spider-Man, Rhino, a figure inspired by the 1990s cartoon that I used to love. Love the animation, I love the mixture of CGI, and I love the storyline. Taking a look at Rhino in front of me, he's on a huge blister card done in the retro style. Anything Spider-Man I'm pretty much going to grab, and anything Spider-Man that's retro, gotta get in. The Rhino is about as retro as you can get. He's been around since I was a kid, and I'm a 70s baby. Alright, here's a shot of the Rhino next to a standard Marvel Legends retro card back, so you see the size difference. This is Spider-Man. How open this guy. A lot of these guys, I love the card back so much that I haven't opened these guys, but I gotta open a Rhino. I got this guy from the first batch, from the first wave of releases off of Big Bad. I think he's been since released again. And I got a second one on pre-order, which should be the third batch in September. So I can keep one on card. I mean, I open my toys. I'm not one of those guys that open this stuff, but some of the card backs are so amazing that I don't open them. And I truly love large, big, beefy figures. And so I knew I was going to open this guy. So I ordered the second one. I'm in like the pre-orders from September or whatever, so I get a second one. So I'm going to open this guy right now on camera. I'm going to try to preserve the package though as well. I do this little trick where I cut the bottom of the box. I try to cut the bottom of the box to pretty much taper it so I can attempt to reseal the package. It might work, it might not work. I probably shouldn't be doing it on camera, but I'm going to try in case anybody's interested and haven't figured this technique out for yourself. And then you slit the sides to give it like a flap. And I'm going to try to slit this without cutting the inner tray. Again, there's no exact science to this. And cut this side here. I think I'm cutting both bubbles, and open it here. And if I've done it correctly, I can slide out the inner tray. And still preserve most of the packaging. Hopefully later on I'll be able to slide it back in, and here you have the packaging. Alright, and inside is the Rhino, or now outside is the Rhino. Here is the figure. And he comes with, I don't even know if you are extra hands accessories. I don't think they fall on that. He comes with extra parts. We'll call them extra parts or not accessories. He has the open hands, and he has the extra face. And the Rhino is just an iconic villain for Spider-Man. I mean, he doesn't have the powers of some guys, not even a personality, but the Rhino suit and just the Russian mob thing. And this is repaint with different head, and I think they changed some of the hands from the Build-A-Figure Rhino from several years ago from a Marvel Legends Spider-Man wave. Alright, let's take a look at the Rhino. Let's bring him close to take a look at his armor, the skinned suit he's wearing. It's very textured. Again, this is a repaint from a Build-A-Figure from a few years ago now, and by them trying to shoehorn this guy into the retro Spider-Man line that's kind of based off the 90s cartoon, which is based off the 90s cartoon. I wish the detailing is great, but I wish they had removed some of the detailing because he did not have that in the cartoon. They actually changed the color of the plastic, and it washes over it from the Build-A-Figure release, which is cool. This is more of a lighter gray, which it should be. But I wish they had found a way to remove some of the texture. I mean, it looks great, but it kind of doesn't go with the simplicity of the 90s cartoon. But it really looks great. The eye on the side of the suit looks creepy. I mean, it looks like a real Rhino suit. Excellent sculpt. The detailing on the horn is very cool. I mean, it is a very good looking figure. And then it's mostly gray plastic with a little bit of a darker gray wash in some places. Check out the little Rhino toes, the feet. Look cool. Little painting on the toenails right there. The face on mine looks great. The paint on the eyes are dead on the sculpt. The paint on teeth is dead on the scope. His flesh tone looks good. I mean, it's a very, very good looking figure. Again, I just had to grab it. It looks very impressive, and I love big, beefy figures. Now let's check out the Rhino's articulation. Start with his head, of course. His neck moves up and down. We can get this much out of it, which is pretty good. Come here, wall crawler. Can't get a full 360 because it's hitting the scope, but the joint in there does allow for it, except for the molding around the shoulder area. And that's pretty much, there is no joint at the base of the neck right here. It's all down here going into the shoulders and the chest. And that's pretty much all you get out of that, which is good enough for the Rhino. He's not going to be doing a whole lot of looking around. His arms can come up this far. Again, it's hindered by the scope right here, which is kind of unfortunate. That's about as high he can get them up to the sides. And I'm going to come to this bicep. That 360s right there. Come to the elbow joint. And this is all you're getting out of there. Again, it's limited due to the bulk. I mean, they could have went other ways to get around it, but we would have lost some of the scopes. That's what you get out of here. The hand of the Rhino, 360s. It has a wrist hinge right there, giving a little bit of more of motion. He has an ab crunch right here. You can crunch down this much. I guess what helps gets him into running poses and ramming poses, but far as going back, it's nothing. He's just standing upright. There's no going back on this figure. Waist swivel, full 360 I expect, and there it is. His little barbell hinges in his thighs allow his legs to come out this far. Not really anything to the back because it's hitting on the butt plate. You can get to the front this far, which I guess is fair. It's pretty cool. Full 360 on the thigh. His knee joint, mine is very tight. He can get this much out of it. Coming down to his ankle, I already moved it by accident. And he can get this much back and forth, and has some rockers so he can get the wider stance. And that's pretty good for posing. Now he comes with extra hands. Now I love extra hands to be able to do different things with. But one thing I noticed, and I'll probably hit on a little bit more, but he doesn't have a true accessory. Like when I was unboxing him, I don't know if hands are like just more parts. I don't consider hands accessories. Not even an extra head or extra faceplate. I don't consider that an accessory. I consider it an option. Here are his optional hands. You can see the nails are painted right there. I don't know. Can we see the nail? Oh yeah, we saw like the thumbnail on the closed hands. And you can see all the nails on the open hands, which hopefully we can get Spider-Man some type of chokehold. Now for Rhino's interchangeable head. And okay, it wasn't hard as I thought. You just pull it out here. I guess because it's from the Build-A-Figure mode, so all this stuff gonna pop out easy. Probably gonna pop the shoulders out. Here is the extra head. Is this a neutral face? Is he just ugly and this is just his neutral face? I don't know, but we just call it a stern face because it doesn't really look angry or anything like that. Sneering a little bit, but it just might be an ugly dude, you know. It's just how he looks, but it is done well. I believe the basic scope of each head is the same, which makes you wonder why they didn't just do a face plate and kind of save some plastic, have it swappable. Because the overall head is the same. Looks like the exact same painting on there, on the horn and everything else. Looks the same. So we're going to go with the stern face, which I probably won't use. Like the other head is cool enough. You know, the Rhino is like pissed all the time, you know. Unless he's like taking orders from the Kingpin or something or just sitting there trying to listen. But here he is. Same articulation out of this head because it is the same head. So, but you do have that option with this figure. All right, so now let's put his articulation to the test and a little bit of a pose down and see what the Rhino can really do. Okay, after posing Rhino around and trying to get him to hold and grip Spider-Man and stuff like that, you kind of see the because of the sculpt, and it's also it's kind of an outdated mold. You know, they update a lot of these figures with new joints and new technologies to get them to be pretty posable. But he's not bad, but you can tell he really needs updates. This is my first time owning this mold. I guess this is the second release of it with a few with the head sculpt changes and the paint app changes, but definitely a little limited in that regard. But overall, it is a pretty cool figure, and I'm happy to own it. So now I'm gonna put Rhino into the size up and run down and see where he scales next to other figures in our collection. First up is DC Superman Justice League Snyder's Cut Steppenwolf. Excellent figure. Can't stand on its own for shit. Super 7 Master of the Universe Classics Ram Man. Marvel Legends Venom. BAF Kingpin. The Juggernaut. 6-Armed Spider-Man. Transformers Kingdom Rhinox. Transformers Cassette Ramhorn because he's a Rhino. Transformers Predacon Headstrong because it's a Rhino. G1 Bombshell because he's a Rhinoceros Beetle. Transformers Deluxe Insecticon Barrage. Rhinoceros Beetle again. Okay, wearing it out. Alright, moving on. Alright fam, there's nothing left to do but wrap this thing up. I love the figure, I love the size. I think he's an excellent size. I think he's in scale with the other Spider-Man figures in my collection, which of a few I brought out. I love the molded detail of the costume, but I do wish it was a little bit less. But never owning this mold before, I'll take it. Far as accessories, like these are supposed to be the accessories. Well, I swapped out one of the hands, but truly he could have came with a couple bags of money because he was always like robbing banks, or a briefcase, a molded briefcase with like money sticking out. You know, it didn't have to open or anything, but like molded money sticking out of it, like he was robbing a bank and Spider-Man was rolling up trying to stop him, and that would have been very cool. Or maybe a steel girder. They included steel girders with Hulk figures in the past. They could have gave him some steel, like he's bending it or something, like a true accessory, or even a newspaper from the Daily Bugle of a picture of him robbing a bank. That would have been cool. What is lacking in articulation and more than makes up in stature. I really like the figure. Happy to finally have a Rhino to go all my Spider-Man. This is the first one I've owned since I was a kid. This figure is available for purchase on multiple sites now, and then some of the sites that don't have it in are getting more stocks in September, so he'll be around. Excellent figure. Happy to add it to my collection. I want to thank everybody for watching another episode of George Reviews, the reviews where every toy has a story. One thing I forgot to do is try to get this guy back into the tray. See if anyone who likes collecting on card can still salvage the toy after opening it and still display it on card. So let's see what we can do. If you remember in the beginning of the video, I kind of just slid it out. I'm going to try to just slide it back in. Hopefully it maintains its form, and here we go. It is in the packaging. You have to kind of turn it over to see where I cut it, and you can still, if you display your figures on a peg, you can still put it on a peg. It is not going to come out. It doesn't look bad. If you wanted to, you could put a little tape on there to clean it up a little bit, just to hold it where you're taking it in and out. So these are not resealable packages, but they can be made to be resealable.